Shadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Haribo, Haribo, Haribo Nithai, God Haribo. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaur Premanandi. Nice to be back with you all. I've been here for the weekend, starting Saturday morning, now through Sunday evening, and we've been discussing a very wonderful section of Srimad Bhagavatam, amongst many wonderful sections of Srimad Bhagavatam, the prayers of Queen Kunti. Hope he doesn't go on the altar. That's the Pujari room back there. He can go in the Pujari room without going on the altar. I hope he doesn't go on the altar. Well, that was a pretty enlivening beginning of the evening class. Novelty. Is there anybody here, most of you, almost all of you are from an Indian background, if not born in India, born of Indian parents somewhere? Does anybody here not know? Anyone not know who is Queen Kunti? You don't know? Okay. So, anyone else not know who is Queen Kunti? Okay. So I'll keep looking over at you quite a bit, if that's all right. You know who is Krishna. And every year we observe Krishna's appearance day, Krishna Janmashtami. You've been part of Krishna Janmashtami before? Krishna's appearance day? No. Okay. Krishna appears, well, every year we say the same number, 5,000 plus years ago. And he appeared in a prison house, of all things, because it was foretold that his mother, on her wedding day, her brother, wasn't exactly her brother, like stepbrother, her stepbrother, Kamsa, very wicked person, he was volunteering to, after her wedding, take her to where her husband, her new husband, lived. That's this Vedic system. The girl would get married where she lived, and then in the evening she would go to where her new husband lived. That would be her new home. So her stepbrother was driving the chariot to take her to her new home. Big celebration after the wedding. And there was a voice from the sky, disembodied voice, saying, "Kamsa, you are such a fool. The eighth child of Devaki will kill you." Ha ha! So Kamsa wasted no time. He grabbed his sister by the hair with one hand, grabbed his sword with the other hand and ready to chop her head off. He wasn't a nice guy. So the new husband, his name was Vasudeva, he was a minister. He knew the art of diplomacy, and he tried this and tried that. And finally, what worked to have him not kill his sister on her wedding day was the message said, her 8th son will be the one who will kill you, not her. So don't kill her, because it's not nice to kill your sister on her wedding day, really. But I promise you, I give you my word, for each child that is born, as the child is born, I'll bring the newborn child to you. You can do what you want with the child. Don't kill your sister. So he agreed. And it's a long story that 6 children, one after the next, were killed by Kamsa, his sister's children. And they were put into prison to make sure that, they didn't do anything with the children other than give them to Kamsa to kill. Long story, but the 8th child of Devaki was Krishna. But Krishna was spared because when he appeared as not as a small child, but as a form of Vishnu. Vishnu, 4 arms, symbols of Vishnu, club, disc, conch, lotus. They offered prayers to him, he spoke to them, and upon Devaki's request, he assumed a very small child form. He told them, I want you to know I'm not your son. I'm the personality of Godhead. I've appeared as your son, but I'm the personality of Godhead, because long ago, 3 lifetimes ago, as Sutapa and Prishni, you underwent austerities for a long time with the desire to have me as your son. So I came, and I told you, I'll not just one time, 3 lifetimes, I'll become your son. So here I am. Krishna. So the father or the husband of Devaki was Vasudeva. Father and mother. Of he who was unborn, they were his mother and father. It was a transcendental pastime, a lila, for Krishna to appear as their son. And then he performed wonderful pastimes. So Vasudeva had a sister, and his sister's name was Kunti. That's who we've been speaking about. Kunti, long story, became the mother of 5 sons. One of them was Arjuna. And Arjuna is the one who received Bhagavad Gita. You're familiar with Bhagavad Gita? A little bit. Bhagavad Gita? Okay. So Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. They're cousins, because Vasudeva is Krishna's father, and Kunti is his sister, and Kunti is the mother of the Pandavas, including Arjuna. So they're cousins. But more than cousins, they're transcendentally, eternally associated, and great devotees of Krishna. So he's appearing, Krishna is appearing as Vasudeva and Devaki's son, Arjuna is appearing as the son of Kunti, and they're friends. But Arjuna is a great devotee of Krishna. He's his devotee and his friend. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti, in language of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, I'm explaining this to you because you're my very dear devotee and my very dear friend. Krishna is, you can say, dearmost friend. In a transcendental sense, not just buddies, but in a transcendental sense. A rasa, or relationship of friendship. Sakya rasa in Sanskrit. A relationship of friendship between Krishna and Arjuna. So their mother, was Kunti. So many things happen that lead up to the Bhagavad Gita scene where there's a battlefield and the battle's about to begin, and Arjuna asks his friend Krishna, who volunteered to be the chariot driver of Arjuna during the battle, because he said he wouldn't fight, but I'll be your chariot driver, won't take a weapon, but I'll be your chariot driver. So he draws Arjuna's chariot into the middle of the two armies, chapter 1, Bhagavad Gita. They see who's there, and Arjuna says, no, I can't do this. And he gives his reasons. And more discussion, and he reaches the conclusion, I don't really know what's best. Can you please instruct me? What's my duty in this circumstance? Because a righteous, virtuous, religious person wants to know, according to Scripture, what should I do with the various circumstances that life presents one with. So Krishna explains Bhagavad Gita. And after speaking Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna takes part in the battle. It lasts 18 days. After the battle is over, the Pandavas are victorious. The elder of the 5 brothers becomes the king. The funeral is carried out for all of the deceased parties that died during the battle. And a righteous king, because the elder brother named Yudhisthira is perfection of religion personified. A perfectly righteous, virtuous king. That's what Krishna wanted, to lead before his departure from this world, before he completed his pastimes. So just as that is completed, Krishna now is going to go back to where the capital of the Yadu dynasty is, which is in Dwarka, some 1,000 kilometers away. So Krishna's getting on his chariot in the middle of the public square with the chariot driver ready to go. And Kunti, she's now the queen and the mother of the reigning ruling party. She has royal privileges, so she worked her way through the crowded public square and came right before Krishna and offered beautiful, beautiful, very elevated prayers. So we've been discussing those prayers this weekend. Very famous, very exalted, very much appreciated, loved section of Srimad Bhagavatam, Queen Kuntis' prayers. And we've completed all but 4 of them. So what I'm not going to do is retell all, the previous ones, or just summarize a few wonderful points and then complete the 4. And then that's the seminar for Queen Kuntis' prayers. Outstanding in her, as themes in her prayers, is her quality of humility. I've been saying this all weekend, but it's no harm saying it again and again. Her humility is completely humbling. She is superlatively qualified. At the same time, she feels herself not qualified. There's one commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam written by Sanatana Goswami, one of the followers of Lord Chaitanya, 6 Goswamis, called Brihat Bhagavatamrita. In Brihat Bhagavatamrita, Sanatana Goswami says one of the primary characteristics of humility is, on the one hand, someone is extremely qualified and capable. At the same time, they feel themselves not capable and not qualified. Therefore, in that mood of humility, they're very eager to receive mercy from Krishna, because Krishna can make one who's not qualified qualified. If you feel you're qualified, who needs mercy? You're qualified. But even those that have qualities know that whatever the quality they have that's of value, it came from Krishna. And even it came from Krishna, whatever they have, they don't belittle what Krishna gave them, but looking inside themselves, especially looking at truly exalted personalities, not qualified. But Krishna wants some service, and so I'm dependent upon Krishna for the qualities to carry out that service. So Queen Kunti is like that. Incredibly humble and incredibly devoted. And she makes a comparison between her lack of ability as an intellectual, as great philosophers have become purified by discriminating matter and spirit, years of austerity and purification necessary to come to that conclusion, and they can't understand you. So how can I understand you? I don't have that qualification. But she also has the qualification to know that that's not a qualification for understanding Krishna. Intellectual discrimination, or the ascending process, doesn't get you to Krishna. You can discriminate between matter and spirit, that's fine, and Krishna is in the category of spirit, as are you, that's fine. Now, to understand Krishna in truth is only possible through devotion, which Kunti has. And because of that devotion, Krishna reveals so many truths about her to Devaki, which she's sharing in these prayers, things that we wouldn't be able to understand, but she can understand in her mood of humility because she's a great devotee. So naturally she's very humble. And she shares so many things. Then another theme is the contradictory qualities that are found in Krishna that to a worldly person is totally baffling, or it just can't be. Like one of them is, he's the source of everything, and so he has no birth, but he has pastimes where he takes birth. The unborn is born. Or he has nothing to do, but when he appears, he does so many things. And many, many other, she really gets into it. She mixes it up with the apparent contradictions, and part of the theme that emerges out of all of her prayers is, in Krishna is the resolution of all contradictory qualities. Because after all, he's the source of everything. If you have this and you have that, where did they come from? Well, they came from some source. So Krishna is the source of this and that simultaneously, and things that seem to cancel each other out. If it's this, it can't be that. If it's that, it can't be this. Which is it? So she doesn't hesitate to, she doesn't tuck it under the rug and say, well, we don't talk about those things because we're devotees, we don't want to offend Krishna. She doesn't want to offend Krishna. She wants to express the glories of Krishna that are inexplicable. Other than saying he has unlimited and inconceivable potencies. So we ended, this morning we discussed in these inconceivable potencies that Krishna has, within him are all contradictions. And it's not a contradiction that within him are all contradictions. He's irreproachable. Avyayam is the Sanskrit word. Inexhaustible, commonly it's translated avyayam. But Krishna can exhibit this and Krishna can exhibit that because he's avyayam. And he's irreproachable. Irreproachable is a nice word. Not so much commonly used in conversation language. But irreproachable means there's no fault in him. That he has conflicting qualities within him, or apparently conflicting, apparently contradictory. Meaning, the mind cannot comprehend because the mind is a binary processor. And it's either a 1 or a 0. It's either this or that. It can't be on and off. It's either on or it's off. It can't be on and off. But Krishna can. Krishna can resolve or be the resting place. So it's a theme without the details. You can read and explore for yourself. And then, because he's the repose of everything, Kunti says, there's so many people that have so many things to say about you. And then one of the things that she spends 5 verses discussing is how different people view how it is that the unborn is born. Some say this, some say that, some say the other thing. She doesn't discount any one of them, but the one that our Acharya Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says is Krishna comes specifically to establish Dharma, and by establishing Dharma, or the principles of elevation of consciousness to the Supreme, Krishna is showing his quality of affection. As he shows his affection for his devotees, which is another apparent contradiction, he seems to be partial to his devotees. And he admonishes others who aren't his devotees, which looks like partiality, but he's impartial. He says it in Bhagavad Gita. Na me dvesho stina priyaha. He feels neither dvesha nor priya. But he's looks like partial to his devotees and admonishes the non-devotees. Just looks that way. And without the detail, there's a nice explanation. Then Kunti gets into rasa and appreciates the residents of Vrindavan. They have such a unique relationship with Krishna. Like she first compares herself to Devaki. Devaki was the mother of Krishna, and Kunti was the mother of the Pandavas. So Krishna protected Devaki from wicked Kamsa, and Devaki and Krishna protected Kunti. But Kunti received more mercy even than Devaki, because 6 of Devaki's children were killed, and Krishna protected Kunti's children. Well, except for Karna. That was another interesting episode in Mahabharata. But in any case, because Kunti didn't have a protector, Krishna took the role as her protector, because he's the protector of his devotees. And he does so through his devotees or himself, one or the other. But Krishna is the protector of those who are surrendered unto him. So Kunti marvels at the love that Yasoda has. Because she has such love for Krishna, she's ready to chastise Krishna with a small stick. And Krishna, seeing the small stick in Mother Yasoda's hands, he starts to cry. And he's not only crying, but he's feeling fear, not pretending. He's feeling fear. And that's mind-blowing to Kunti. She can't understand it. He who is feared by fear personified is afraid of a little stick in Mother Yasoda's hand. He who has killed so many demons, and with one punch, just with his fist, he kills Kamsa. And Kamsa was, Mighty Joe Young. He was really a powerful fellow. Original terrorist. Terrorized the whole universe. Krishna was unafraid, and one punch, and not just knocked him down, but he's dead. Krishna is so powerful, fearless, but afraid of a little stick in mud. So it's mind bewildering to Kunti. But he's reciprocating with the affection of Mother Yasoda. So now we're just one of the verses. There's 2 particular verses in all of her prayers that at least I feel are especially outstandingly bewildering. One of them is, and famous, one of them is where she prays to Krishna for calamities. Everyone knows, at least those that know about Queen Kunti know. She does something that even Lord Chaitanya doesn't do. Lord Chaitanya says, whatever you wish. And Queen Kunti says, I want calamities. Why does she want calamities? She's not a masochist. She understands that when there's difficulty, Krishna comes to protect his devotee, and then the devotee can see Krishna, and by seeing Krishna, material existence is finished just by seeing Krishna. So bring the calamities again and again, because the verse prior to that is she's reciting examples of calamities that Krishna came, or at least Krishna was personally intervening and giving protection. And they felt completely protected, although horrific conditions, terrible conditions. She knew very well the wickedness of Duryodhana and others. Without all the details, she told Vidura and she told Krishna, she told Akrura when he came. She knew very well the wickedness and the potential of these very bad people, but she knew she was also fully protected. So what did she want? Not relief from the difficulties. She wanted Krishna. If difficulties bring Krishna, bring on the difficulties, because it'll bring Krishna. Very puzzling. It's a very deep. Is a classic. Huh?
Too early for Bhagavad Gita. She needs to be more mature so that she can understand Bhagavad Gita.
The little girl that's crying over there?
Once she doesn't have the understanding.
But the mother does. Mataji, could you take the child out of the hall? Thank you. You're very kind to all of us. Where was I? Calamities? What about calamities? Lord Chaitanya? Compassionate? I couldn't hear. Could you? Kunti was being protected by Krishna because she didn't have a protector, so Krishna was her direct protector. That was the topic? Ah, there we go. Thank you. Lord Chaitanya said, you can do with me whatever you like. You can embrace me. You can neglect me. You can trample me under feet. You can do whatever you want with me. And Queen Kunti is saying, bring the calamities. Very puzzling. Very deep subject matter. Yeah, she's not a masochist. I remember saying that. So what she wants is Krishna. And her experience is, and the Pandavas, and Draupadi, when there's a difficulty, Krishna comes. And he is personally, he's there even if he's not visibly there, but he is personally there when the devotees have some difficulty. So she doesn't mind the difficulty because she's protected. And especially she can see Krishna if Krishna comes. So he's just now about to leave, so she's pleading with him. These final verses, she's asking him not to go. She's very explicitly asking him not to go. So one of the two most puzzling verses in all of her prayers is that one. She's asking for, may the calamities come again and again. It's a deep subject to understand her heart and where is she coming from. She wants Krishna. Whatever the price is, I'll pay the price. I want Krishna. Then the other is in this final section where she's offering another prayer that's puzzling. She's offering a prayer. I'll read it, but the prayer essentially is, you're about to leave, and when you leave, there's two verses, that your lotus feet, the marks, because on the bottom of Krishna's feet there's marks, a lotus flower that's already been mentioned in one of her earlier prayers, and a thunderbolt, and a rod for controlling elephants, and an umbrella, and there's different markings on the soles of Krishna's feet. And by the impressions of Krishna's feet in Hastinapur, everything is made auspicious. And now those feet are going to Dwarka. And so all the auspiciousness that's been present because of you is going to go away. So please don't take your feet away. Please stay. Then the next verse, she says, by your glance. And Krishna's glance is very, very special. Krishna has, when we greet the deities every morning in all of our temples all over ISKCON, one of the songs that we sing from the Govinda prayers is Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti, which means that every one of his angas, or his limbs, every part of his body can perform any other function of any other part of his body. That means he has a spiritual body, because any part of his body can do anything any other part of his body can do. He can eat with his ears or with his eyes. He can also eat with his mouth. But he doesn't have to use the mouth. Any one of his limbs can do anything any other limb can do. Or the glance, he can eat with his glance. He can impregnate the whole cosmic manifestation with his glance. Mahavishnu does that. Who can do that? Imagine if men could impregnate women just by glancing. We'd have a problem. Big problem. Material bodies can't do that, but Krishna's glance can do that. Or at least one version of the Ramayana says when Ram shot arrows into the ocean boiled, so he could get Samudra to come and before him. But another version of the Ramayana says he just glanced at the ocean, and the ocean began to boil. Pretty powerful glance. Or when Krishna was entering Dwarka, this is in the first canto, the ladies were up on the rooftops because they were shy, but they were feeling affection for Krishna, and he knew that. So to reciprocate with their affection, he glanced, and his glance entered into their eyes, into their hearts, and they felt as satisfied as if they had embraced Krishna with their arms. That's how powerful Krishna's glance is. Or, that prayer, that little phrase in poetic expression, Krishna would look upon the gopis with a sidelong glance. Not an ordinary glance. Krishna's glance is very powerful. So Kunti says in her prayer that just by your glancing upon the mountains and the rivers and the agricultural land. Bountiful, everything was supplied. All the natural products that a king is concerned to have their citizens have, it was there. So now my son, Yudhisthira, is the king, but you're going to stop glancing because you're going to go to Dwarka? I'm concerned of the lack of auspiciousness or the inauspiciousness by your absence. So please don't go. So it's 4 verses. Please don't go. Please don't go. And then it's please don't go. So now I'm going to read the last 2 verses, 41 and 42 of chapter 8. No, 42, 43, excuse me. 41, here we go, 41. O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please therefore sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. She's a pure devotee and a soft-hearted, loving mother. She's saying, I have affection for my sons, and I have affection for my father and my father's family. Because her father, Shurasena was her father, and the whole Yadu dynasty was now residing in Dwarka. So while Krishna was taking care of the problem, the calamity in Hastinapur of Duryodhana and his wickedness in the battle and everything, Krishna had come. But all the Yadu dynasty members were feeling separation from Krishna. So Krishna's with the Pandavas, they're very happy. But when Krishna leaves Hastinapur, the Yadus are going to be very happy. My father's family is going to be very happy, but my sons will be very unhappy. So I'm feeling this affection for both parties, naturally so. As a woman, soft-hearted, pure devotee woman, her relatives are also great devotees. So she's feeling torn between these 2 affections. So she's asking to sever the tie of affection. And specifically in the purport, it's the material portion of that affection, which means the spiritual portion is remaining. So what's that? What's the spiritual portion of affection? And that's Prabhupada very, very beautifully, I like this very much. The spiritual portion of affection is presented. Here we go. Text 42. And the final text is 43, and we're done for the prayers of Queen Kunti. O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea, Gange Vagham Udvanti, as the Ganga flows forever down to the sea, without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. She wants Shuddha Bhakti, or unmixed devotion. And she's finding that the material portion of her affection for her relatives is obstructing that devotion. She's torn between this and that. Stay, don't go. But if you go, then we'll feel separation. If you stay, they'll feel separation. Caught by her family affection, or the material portion of her family affection. I'm going to read the purport. It's not so long. Perfection in devotional service is attained when all attention is diverted towards the transcendental loving service of the Lord. To cut off the tie of all other affections does not mean complete negation of the finer elements, like affection for someone else. This is not possible. A living being, whoever he may be, must have this feeling of affection for others, because this is a symptom of life. The symptoms, listen carefully, the symptoms of life, such as desire, anger, hankerings, feelings of attraction, etc., cannot be annihilated. Only the objective has to be changed. Desire cannot be negated, but in devotional service, the desire is changed only for the service of the Lord in place of desire for sense gratification. The so-called affection for family, society, country, etc., consists of different phases of sense gratification. When this desire is changed for the satisfaction of the Lord, it is called devotional service. Now, her sons are pure devotees, and the other family members in Dwarka, they're very exalted devotees also. So what's the material portion of her affection? It's on the platform of the body, not soul to soul. So here in the purport, Prabhupada explains how to have a soul-to-soul affection. Would you like to know how to do that? Here's Prabhupada's explanation. Relations of the soul established in relation with the Supreme Soul are factual relations. When Kunti Devi wanted to cut off the family relation, she meant to cut off the relation of the skin. The skin relation is the cause of material bondage, but the relation of the soul is the cause of freedom. This relation of the soul to soul can be established by the medium of the relation with the super soul. Well, Krishna is in the middle, or Krishna is at the center of that relation. So I have a relation with someone, and Krishna is in the center of that relation with someone. So I have the relation with someone because they're part and parcel of Krishna. They are connected to Krishna, and therefore that's the basis of the relation. He ends, seeing in the darkness is not seeing, but seeing by the light of the sun means to see the sun and everything else which was unseen in darkness. That is the way of devotional service. Pretty interesting way of concluding that message. It's not advocating callousness or have no affection, become numb or hard-hearted or something like that. It's not the advocacy. The advocacy is soul-to-soul relation, and that's what she's hankering for. She's at most exalted devotee. She's displayed it already. She's far above us. She's on the topmost platform of devotion. Even she is feeling this undue affection on the platform of the body. She wants soul-to-soul affection. So she's asking Krishna, whose Maya potency is under his control, please remove that Maya potency. And it's possible through devotion. That is to say, when Krishna sees the sincerity of his devotee, he can then withdraw the influence of Maya. You with me? Devahuti says the same thing to Kapila Dev, and it's like a really long discussion. But the discussion starts with Devahuti requesting her son, please remove the Maya that's covering me, because it's your Maya. You put it there. You can take it away. I can't take it away. It's your Maya. Please take it away. Can you tell me what I should do so that I'm eligible for you to take away my Maya? And he gives a very straight answer to a very straight question, and he says association with sadhus. Because when you're in association with sadhus, here's what happens. You connect, the sadhus connect you with Krishna's internal potency, the process of devotional service. They help give support to that process of devotional service, which connects you to Krishna. And when you're connected to Krishna, you're no longer under the influence of the external potency. Krishna withdraws the external potency. Quite simple. And then what do you do in the association of sadhus? You do what sadhus do. Bhajana kriya, devotional activity. Exactly what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Kathayantas chamam nityam tushanti cha ramanti cha. That's what sadhus do. That's what Krishna says sadhus do, and that's what sadhus do. That's why Srila Prabhupada created Hare Krishna temples, so we could come together and do what we're doing right now. Hear the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hari Katha. Hear the glorifications of Krishna from the mouths of his pure devotees. And share that message with others and encourage you in your homes to do the same thing. And in little Bhakti Vriksha gatherings that people can do during some weekend or Friday evening or whenever you have your Bhakti Vriksha gatherings. And then come together to the temple and more Harikatha and Kirtan and worship of the deity. Why? Shrinvanti Gayanti Grananti Abhikshnashaha, according to Kunti's prayers, is the process that reawakens your dormant Krishna consciousness. And when your dormant Krishna consciousness is awakened, no more birth and death. It's an open invitation. Come on over to the no more birth and death side of the river of material existence. Come on over. There's a very nice boat. It's called the boat of Shravanam and Kirtanam. Very nice boat. With a good captain, our founder Acharya. Just stay under the direction of the good captain on the safe boat across the ocean of material existence. Very joyful. And it's certain. And according to Queen Kuntis' prayers, it's very quick, especially compared to other processes of purification, many lifetimes, and one may still not reach the other shore of material existence. But very quickly one can get to the other shore by this process of devotional service that begins with hearing. Okay, so I have now completed. Oh, there's one more verse. Verse 43, and then Kunti ends, I think. Okay. Verse 43. O Krishna, O friend of Arjuna, O chief amongst the descendants of Vrishni, you are the destroyer of those political parties which are disturbing elements on this earth. Your prowess never deteriorates. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode, and you descend to relieve the distresses of the cows, the brahmanas, and the devotees. You possess all mystic powers, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are the Almighty God. And I offer you my respectful obeisances. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Is there time for questions or no? Anyone would like to raise a question? Gail. I looked at your direction first. Do we have a portable microphone? Here comes the portable microphone. It's got your name on it.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I need a clarification as to how Queen Kuntis material affection interfered with her devotion?
Well, it's like a cloud interferes with the light of the sun. That's how. It obfuscates or blocks the fullness of the power of bhakti. Material, by definition, material means forgetfulness of Krishna. Material, very simple definition. Spiritual material. Spiritual means remembrance of Krishna. Material means forgetfulness of Krishna. Here's a table. It's material. But if it's used in Krishna's service, it can act in a spiritual way. It holds tulsi. It can act in a spiritual way, although it's marble and wood, and probably some, nails and some other things. But it can act in a spiritual way in relation to Krishna. It can become spiritualized, so to speak. So, material affection is in forgetfulness of Krishna. So she wants to remove that material affection portion of her relationship. So material affection can obfuscate or block the soul-to-soul relation. You can have a soul-to-soul relation. As Prabhupada is saying, it's quite unnatural to say no relation. It's not possible. But she wants a soul-to-soul only relation. The material affection portion, no. You got a microphone in your hand. You use it. You don't have to say it again. I got it. So if she, instead of doing what she's doing, what should she do is the question. How is she supposed to handle, she does have affection for both groups of family members. Where's she supposed to park that one?
Yeah, in other words, I didn't see how her having affection for both sides obstructed her love for Krishna.
Well, didn't have to. It's a little bit like Devahuti saying that I'm in Maya. I have this undue affection for family. And she doesn't. But she says she does. She's feeling like she does. So Kapila Dev, Vishwanath comments, he smiles, saying Devahuti to himself. Devahuti, what are you talking about? You're my mother. You're a pure devotee, and I'm the Supreme Lord. You don't have this problem. You're just speaking this way because you want other people to hear. Oh, okay, so then I'll give you the answer so other people can hear. So here, we can hear. So Devahuti she's humble. She's saying so many self-abnegating things of, I'm disqualified this way, that way. So in one sense, she's not having material affection. Because she's a pure devotee who has no shelter but Krishna. She's praying for that no shelter but Krishna position that she already has, because that's part of her humility. She's praying in that way. But there's others that don't have that unalloyed affection for Krishna that she has, and for them it's a problem. When you're with one family member, you're not with another family member. And then that can obstruct your devotion to Krishna. Just like, I'm here in New Jersey and I'm not in Brooklyn. They're having a, shindig over in Brooklyn, and I'm over here, not there, or not some other place where I have some, persons who I hold very dear to me, and I'm not where they are. That doesn't obstruct my devotion to Krishna. But it can. It can just be on the material side. If I'm missing the association of that person in a self-centered way, not in a Krishna-centered way. That's the obstruction. That's the material affection, where and my enjoyment is at the center, not Krishna's at the center.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. For Queen Kunti, her 5 sons, Pandavas, are saved in the battlefield. But her
5 sons are what?
the 5 sons, Pandavas,
Yeah.
they are saved, they are protected by Krishna on the battlefield.
On the battlefield, yeah.
On the battlefield. But her 6 grandsons actually, which is like 5 sons of Draupadi and
Yeah.
1 son of Subhadra. Krishna did not protect them, they are actually got killed.
That they sure did.
So what is the message Krishna wants to give us or Queen Kunti in this incident?
Well, we talked about that during the day today. And you hand the microphone to this nice devotee behind you. Behind you? There we go. So the response that I gave was 2 things. I haven't read anything by our acharyas that said why. So I can't tell you from the acharya commentary position why. There may have been some commentary that says why. Personally, I'm unaware. I could find out if other learned devotees know the answer to that one. Second answer is, behind anything that happens where Krishna is the sanction of, particularly with his devotees, there is some purpose or message. Just like take the one over here that I mentioned it this afternoon. Prahlad was protected. So many ways Hiranyakashipu tried to kill him. He couldn't kill him. Parikshit Maharaj did not exhibit that particular kind of protection. Rather, the snakebird came and bit him, and his body burst into flames because of the poison, the intensity of the poison of that mystical entity. So he wasn't protected. But he went to Krishna. So we know why the curse was there. So Maharaj Parikshit could hear Srimad Bhagavatam, fix his mind in Krishna, and go to Krishna. So for Abhimanyu, we don't know. But one thing we know is those who died on the battlefield in the presence of Krishna went back to Godhead. So Abhimanyu went back to Godhead. So Krishna could have chosen some other way for him to go back to Godhead, but that's how he chose for him to go back to Godhead. So to this, as I said this afternoon, to this day, we're glorifying a great hero that died on the battlefield. And how many in the history of mankind heroes died on the battlefield that we don't talk about? But Abhimanyu, because he was so devoted to Krishna and in Krishna's presence, he went back to Godhead. And then so it could have been some other way. Why didn't Krishna do it some other way? He chose that way. He was a great hero. And it provoked Arjuna to take a vow that he would kill Jayadratha. And he was the only one, because of the benediction that Lord Shiva had given to Jayadratha. Only Arjuna could kill him. Arjuna killed him. But then, there was another. When Arjuna took that vow, Krishna asked him, "Why'd you take such a terrible vow?" And Arjuna said, "Well, I knew if I took the vow, you would uphold the vow. I would certainly kill Jayadratha if I took such a vow, because you wouldn't let me be killed or enter into fire." Relationship with Krishna, reason of why some things happen the way they happen for exalted devotees. So I don't know, there's quite likely some acharya given transcendental reason about the sons of Draupadi, which I don't know. But some purpose of Krishna, some purpose. He needed them for some service somewhere else, or something inexplicable. In fact, that's something that in the prayers of Queen Kunti, Vishwanath says, "Who can understand your intention? Your pastimes are mystical." In the next chapter, Bhishma says the same thing. Who can understand your purpose? Why? But some purpose, unknown to us unless our acharyas disclose it. Anything else? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.